Hi, I think we're live. Hopefully you can hear me. I have a new setup. Um, the Van Beers have moved, finally. Um, so I'm exhausted. It's also freezing in here. So I'm covered up in a blanket because that was easier than getting up and changing the thermostat. So yeah. Happy Monday, everyone. Good noon to you. I would like to tell you a little bit about yesterday, if you will let me. So yesterday was Pentecost, what we like to call the birthday of the church. And Pastor Ginger preached from the sanctuary. Excuse me, sir. He's a little sassafras this morning. Um, Pastor Ginger preached from the sanctuary a powerful sermon called Say His Name. And it was wonderful to see her with the altar that was adorned in like red and gold. And it was just, yeah, it was a reminder of the good things that are coming. um, yeah. So I did the children's message. Then I shut my computer and I ran down to Foundry where we had an ASP pre-trip activity. So we were out in the sun for about 2 to 3 hours, which is good. Had a little bit of break and then went right back out there for youth at night, which we've resumed doing in person also. So that was awesome. And then I got home around 8 o'clock and took a shower and rolled into bed. And what I want to tell us today is that as we're sort of reacclimating to pre-pandemic life or back to normal or however you want to say it, we need to bake in some recovery time. Because it's no joke. It's no joke at all. Like, I am exhausted. Now, granted, I just moved and all of that too, but yeah, I think as we reacclimate back into like the fullness of the world, we're gonna need some time. We're gonna need some time to do that. It's not just gonna come as easily as it did before. So, just something to think about. And yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about Pentecost, and I wanted to talk about Holy Spirit and love, and see how those things are connected. So Pentecost is one of my favorite days, high holy days of the church. I love that my association with Pentecost is mostly connected to confirmation because it's typically when confirmands join the church. This year we aren't; those dates aren't lining up for us this year, but Confirmation Sunday is coming soon, which is exciting. So yeah, the birthday of the church or Pentecost is a reminder of this gift that we have of the Holy Spirit. And I remember a theology professor telling me in seminary once that because we were arguing about Jesus' humanity and divinity, as you do, and I was like, I was asking about the Holy Spirit in the person of Jesus, and my theology professor was like, "Well, Jesus has the same access to the Holy Spirit that you do," and I was like, "Oh, interesting." Um, and so that's kind of like shifted my perspective since that moment of how the Holy Spirit shows up and works in us and through us and around us. And so this day of Pentecost is a really special day. It's a reminder that we have this access to the Holy Spirit, that we've been given this gift that is an agent of creating space for love, which is what I think the Holy Spirit is up to most of the time. And I think we like to think of love as like, like Hallmark kind of love. Like, what can we fit in the inside of a Hallmark card that can that can describe our feelings to give us a warm and fuzzy feeling? But what I think the Holy Spirit is doing in creating space for love is creating sort of like, got to come out of my blanket, is creating sort of like a basin for love that can hold all the things. It holds all the things because along with love, there is heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching pain, right? There's pain and sadness and deep, deep grief. But the joy, or perhaps the joy, is to have loved and to continue to love and to be in a space of love. And so what I think the Holy Spirit does is sort of prepare that space for us. And so I wonder about in our relationships, in our own lives, or even professional and personal relationships, how we're creating space for the Holy Spirit. Because she does that work so well in creating that space to hold all those things, that when I try to create that space, what I often wind up with is not enough space or not the right kind of space. The space is really inhospitable, and it creates sort of like a chemical reaction. And I find myself sometimes needing the Holy Spirit's preparation for my heart, for my head, for the environment, for the space in between us. Rob Bell and his wife Kristen did some marriage work and talked about and wrote something. I forget if it wound up being a book, but anyway, it was some kind of resource for marriage. And he talks a lot about, and she talks a lot about the space in between you. That also is a space, like not in a hokey sort of middle school dance kind of like leave room for Jesus way, but there's something happening in the space between all of us, right? And inviting the Holy Spirit, and not even so much inviting, right? Because she's there anyway, but just saying to the Holy Spirit, you're welcome here, you're welcome here, you're welcome here, you're welcome in this space in between, you're welcome in this weird world we have going on right now. And what the beautiful work of the Holy Spirit is the preparation. It's the groundwork for how we love. And I don't know how you interact with the Holy Spirit or what you find most meaningful about that person of the Trinity, but I would love to know, because I like her a lot. As a mystic, I like her a lot. And like I said, I think that creating that basin that holds all the things, and inviting the Holy Spirit into that space to do that preparation work is really, really important. It's really important, especially now. As we, like I was saying, as we're going back into a different mode of being again, to understand how to do that in a way that's healthy and safe and affirming for everyone, and creates love out of fear, creates love out of a lack of hope, creates love out of shame and guilt, because they can kick rocks. And that's the work of the Holy Spirit. And it animates our lives if we let it, and it animates the church if we'll let it. And it's a beautiful reminder of the breath that cycles in and through us, and of our capacity to be in relationship with one another in ways that honor who we are. And it's a gift. So anyway, that's what I have for today. And like I said, I would love to know if you have particular thoughts about the Holy Spirit and how you interact with the Holy Spirit. But it's something to be thinking about as we continue on sort of in this Pentecost season. That's what I was thinking about. There's this song too by Francesca Battistelli. I don't know how to say her name, but I think that's right. And it always gets stuck in my head, but it's Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your presence, Lord. Welcome here. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Yeah. So I think I'm going to be singing that for the next probably weeks because it's an earworm and I can't get it out of my head. But anyway, I want you to think a little bit about the Holy Spirit, how you interact with her, what are the spaces that you can welcome her into, and how is she going to show up in this season to create and prepare space for you, for love, for relationships, for grace, for mercy, for goodness, because that's what the Holy Spirit does. The Holy Spirit taps on your heart and says, remember, you were created good. I was there. You are created good. Yeah, so don't forget that. Okay. Yep, that's what I got. So it's been awesome to be with you today. I hope you'll stay tuned to our Facebook pages and all the various ways that you can remain connected to Foundry. If you haven't taken our congregational survey, do that. It was sent to your email. There's all kinds of stuff going on at Foundry, y'all, so just check out our website. It has the most up-to-date information. As always, good noon, everybody.